Hey friends, I want to talk to you about the astrology of the week and what do you need to know to make this week the best week that you can. It has been a big week after last week. I feel like the recovery of all that energy that was moving around, I know this weekend for me was, I felt really inward. I felt like that I kind of need to take a beat to process. And I think that's really what's happening is that we had a lot of big moving energy last week. We had the Lion's Gate. And now I think it's time to just slow down a bit and process what's happening. And it's really time to kind of digest it and to know where do there need to be shifts made, where are there new choices, where is new information coming in, where am I ready to maybe move in a different way. And if that clarity is there for you, then now is the time. And especially between today, Monday, and Tuesday, when we have the Jupiter-Mars conjunction. But if this isn't clear for you and you're not sure, then this is time to just continue listening, continue being with the energy and really assessing for yourself what is really showing up. And I know for me, a lot of this is going back to like those kind of basic fundamental things within my life of what's working and what's not. And oftentimes the mind wants to complicate that, wants it to be way more like needing to think through all these things and look at pros and cons when really we usually really know what needs to shift. We really usually know where we want to go and what choice maybe the next choice is. That doesn't mean we know the whole thing. It doesn't mean that we have the whole plan, but generally when things are changing and when life is offering us new choices or new directions, if we're really present, we generally know where to go. And this is the week to get clear with that. We are in a Mercury retrograde, so that does mean that sometimes we go back to go forward. Sometimes that means that we go inward and we listen, and we have to kind of be honest with where maybe we're repeating same choices or where we're getting stuck in continued cycles and where it's time to make a new choice. Because really underneath it all, if we want something different in our life, we're the ones that have to change. We have to make new choices. We have to think new thoughts. We have to feel new things. And I find for me, sometimes there's the elephant in the room, right? There's the thing that I'm avoiding or the thing that I'm like, well, it's definitely not that, or I don't have to touch that, or I'm doing all with that I can. But when I'm really honest, that's the very thing that's keeping me from what I want. And the moment that I decide to face it and to make a shift, to make a different choice or decision, to choose to look at it differently, then the obstacle is no longer self-imposed. Then the way forward presents itself. So this is truly a week for deep truth, friends, and deep awareness, because really it all starts with, are we willing to be present with ourselves and aware of what we're feeling, of what we want, and what's before us? So I have a quote that really came to me this morning, because really, I know for me, a lot of what stops me from when I'm in these places where I know I need to go a different way or make another choice is there's a lot of judgment about my process. Like, why did it take so long? Like, why can't I figure this out? Why isn't it more simple? Or blah, 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 all the story. And really, it doesn't really matter how long it took you. It doesn't really matter how windy your process is or how many times you've had to go back to go forward. You know, friends, like that's just the mind's judgment of that it should be linear, that it should be easy, it should be whatever it is, but it is what it is. And really, because we're in Leo season, this is all about you being you and your process being yours. And it doesn't matter if you had to go back 100 times before you go forward, if you had to take 30 steps back before you took a half step forward, just go forward. Just give yourself permission to be in your own process, even if you don't know how it's going to turn out, just trusting that you being you is truly the pathway forward. So I was reminded this morning of The Velveteen Rabbit. It's a children's book, and if you've never read it, it's a marvelous book, and I remember reading it to my daughter. But this quote, I've often come back to in my life different times, and I feel that it's exactly what we need to hear today. He says, you become. It takes a long time, and that's why it doesn't happen often to people who break easily, or have sharp edges, or have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you're real, most of your hair has been loved off and your eyes drop out and you get loose in your joints and very shabby. But these things don't matter, because once you're real, you can't be ugly, except to people who don't understand. So friends, this is all a week for being real. This is all about a week for being real with yourself, real with how you transmit yourself, real with the choices that you're making that are truthful and authentic. So I have 3 questions that I think will really help you this week in answering to be able to continue to navigate these energetic times. And one is, how do you truly want to feel? If you were to have the things that you want in your life, if you were to move forward and to be the person that you want to be in your life, wherever it is in your life, your work, your personal, it's all the same. How do you want to feel? Can you name and can you really tap into the feelings that you want? That's question number 1. Like, really on an emotional level, know where you want to go. The second question is, if you knew you could have that and you were to be, and that was true, how could you act as if? And what I mean by that are, what are the things that you can do right now that elicit those feelings? What are the tiny choices or the things that you might put energy into? Who are the people, the places, the things that allow you to start creating that in your life now? Like, if you knew you could have that, what would you do differently than you're doing now? What are the things that you can just put to the front of your list so that you can start feeling and being that person today? That's question number 2. I like to call it my act as if. And the third question, this is the elephant in the room question. Where's the gap? Where do you pinch yourself off? Where do you tolerate or tell yourself you can't have it? Where are you creating feelings in your life that are the exact opposite of what you want? What are the circumstances and situations that allow you to keep feeling the gap between where you are, whether it's by how you're perceiving it, by the choice that you make, by the company you keep? Where's the gap? And this is where I find that there's a tremendous amount of truth telling that has to be done in order to really answer this question of, what's cutting me off? Where are those self-imposed blocks sometimes because I'm unwilling to really name it? I'm unwilling to sit with that fear, that emotion, or I'm unwilling to stop doing the thing. And no judgment when you find it, because this is truly how we free ourselves. So see how those questions land for you this week. Take the time you need to listen in deeply. And if you find that you have the clarity to make a choice, the universe has got your back, especially in these next couple days as we are trying, the universe is working with us to truly try and expand us into where we want to go, which requires presence, which requires us to kind of be in the moment, to adapt, to open into new information, to see things differently. So I hope that you'll take the opportunity to really feel into what's coming up for you, what's present. And may you have the wisdom and the trust to answer those questions fully and to take that step, to make those adjustments, to return to the foundation of who you are and who you want to be, and make it super simple for what is required for the evolving you. So I have a workshop on Tuesday at noon. It's called the Energy Reset, and this workshop really deals with how we realign ourselves. So how do we be able to tell where we are and where we are when we're at our best, when we're feeling how we want to feel, when we're creating from a place of empowerment and choice, and then how do we know when we're off? And when we are off, how do we get ourselves back? Not by pulling ourselves up by our bootstrings, but by returning to who we are, by choosing to take the time to realign ourselves with what's true for us and to make choices that always align, to really feel what alignment is, not from a mental level, but from an energetic level. So I think this will be giving you a lot of valuable tools that can help you. So that's coming up on Tuesday. And coming up at the end of the month, I have an opportunity for an exponentially receiving opportunity for you in retreat in Lanakai. It's for one person or for a couple. And this is really the chance to make that big leap, to really invest fully in yourself, to say yes without knowing, to really put all of your internal and external resources towards the you that you're ready to become. So if that is at all curious for you, then reach out and chat with me, and we'll see if it is a good fit, whether it's now or another time. I send you so much blessings this week, friends. I send you so much presence and trust that the universe is working with you and for you, and all that's happening is so useful and so necessary and so part of it. So be real, be you, and that's all you got to do.